Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for the great. If your only goal is to become rich, you will never achieve it. The secret of success is to do the common things uncommonly well. Own nothing, control everything. I believe the power to make money is a gift of God. I would rather earn 1% off of 100 people's efforts than 100% of my own efforts. Success comes from keeping the ears open and the mouth closed. The way to make money is to buy when blood is running in the streets. I don't want a nation of thinkers, I want a nation of workers. I always tried to turn every disaster into an opportunity. I do not think that there is any other quality so essential to success of any kind as the quality of perseverance. It overcomes almost everything, even nature. If you want to succeed, you should strike out on new paths, rather than travel the worn paths of accepted success. Do you know the only thing that gives me pleasure? It's to see my dividends coming in. How much money does it take to make a man happy? Just one more dollar. I never would have been able to tithe the first $1 million I ever made if I had not tithed my first salary, which was $150 per week. The man who starts out simply with the idea of getting rich won't succeed. You must have a larger ambition. There is no feeling in this world to be compared with self-reliance. Do not sacrifice that to anything else. Save when you can and not when you have to. Competition is a sin. I would rather hire a man with enthusiasm than a man who knows everything. Oh, how blessed young men are who have to struggle for a foundation and beginning in life. Next to doing the right thing, the most important thing is to let people know you are doing the right thing. The ability to deal with people is as purchasable a commodity as sugar or coffee, and I will pay more for that ability than for any other under the sun. Get rich by taking something common and making it uncommon. Character, not wealth, power, or position, is the supreme word. Every right implies a responsibility, every opportunity, an obligation, every possession, a duty. God gave me my money. Singleness of purpose is one of the chief essentials for success in life, no matter what may be one's aim. I believe in the supreme worth of the individual and in his right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Good leadership consists of showing average people how to do the work of superior people. I believe in the dignity of labor, whether with head or hand, that the world owes no man a living, but that it owes every man an opportunity to make a living. The person with big talk and big dreams is more powerful than one with all the facts. I believe that the law was made for man, and not man for the law. The common denominator for success is work. Think of giving not only as a duty, but as a privilege. Giving is the secret to a healthy life. Not necessarily money, but whatever a person has to give of encouragement, sympathy, and understanding. I had no ambition to make a fortune. Mere money-making has never been my goal. I had an ambition to build. The best philanthropy is constantly in search of the finalities, a search for a cause, an attempt to cure evils at their source. Giving should be entered into in just the same way as investing. Giving is investing. Charity is injurious unless it helps the recipient to become independent of it. Never lose interest in life and the world. Never allow yourself to become annoyed. The major fortunes in America have been made in land. A friendship founded on business is better than a business founded on friendship. I never placed my head upon the pillow at night without reminding myself that my success might only be temporary. I have made many millions, but they have brought me no happiness. A man has no right to occupy another man's time unnecessarily. The best business in the world is a well-run oil company. The second best business in the world is a badly run oil company. The only question with wealth is, what do you do with it? Never think you need to apologize for asking someone to give to a worthy cause, any more than as though you were giving him or her an opportunity to participate in a high-grade investment. The duty of giving is as much his or hers as is the duty of asking yours. Be sure that you are not deceiving yourself at any time about actual conditions. I have no use for men who fail. The cause of their failure is no business of mine, but I want successful men as my associates. I was trained from the beginning to work, to save. I have always regarded it as a religious duty to get all I could honorably and to give all I could. I know of nothing more despicable and pathetic than a man who devotes all the hours of the waking day to the making of money for money's sake. A man's wealth must be determined by the relation of his desires and expenditures to his income. If he feels rich on $10 and has everything else he desires, he really is rich. I believe it is a religious duty to get all the money you can, fairly and honestly, to keep all you can and to give away all you can. The success of each is dependent upon the success of the other. I believe that thrift is essential to well-ordered living. It is wrong to assume that men of immense wealth are always happy. The task is simple. We will organize children and teach them in a perfect way the things their fathers and mothers are doing in an imperfect way. Long ago I lost the joy in living. The only joy I have is in my giving. Our cup will truly run over only after we have sealed the character cracks. When a man has accumulated a sum of money, accumulated it within the law, the government has no right to share in its earnings. I was trained from the beginning to work, to save, and to give. And we are never too old to study the Bible. Each time the lessons are studied comes some new meaning, some new thought which will make us better. The impression was gaining ground with me that it was a good thing to let the money be my slave and not make myself a slave to money. Money is a way of keeping count on how well you're doing in business. The poorest man I know is the man who has nothing but money. I can think of nothing less pleasurable than a life devoted to pleasure. It has always been my rule in business to make everything count. I have long been profoundly convinced that in the very nature of things, employers and employees are partners, not enemies, that their interests are common, not opposed, that in the long run the success of each is dependent upon the success of the other. When work goes out of style, we may expect to see civilization totter and fall. It is very important to remember what other people tell you, not so much what you yourself already know. Don't blame the marketing department. The buck stops with the chief executive. You know that great prejudice exists against all successful business enterprise. The more successful, the greater the prejudice. After it is all over, the religion of man is his most important possession. We are quite convinced that if he were alive today, as an astute businessman looking out to the future, he would be moving out of fossil fuels and investing in clean, renewable energy. Oftentimes, the most difficult competition comes not from the strong, the intelligent, the conservative competitor, but from the man who is holding on by the eyelids and is ignorant of his costs. And anyway, he's got to keep running or bust. I shall use such influence as I have in emphasizing the basic truths common to all denominations, in lowering denominational barriers, and in promoting effective cooperation among Christians of whatever creed. I should say, in general, the advantage of education is to better fit a man for life's work. I would advise young men to take a college course as a rule, but think some are just as well off with a thorough business training. Let the good work go on. We must ever remember we are refining oil for the poor man, and he must have it cheap and good. Taxation has its limitations as a method of achieving better economic distribution, since for this purpose, it is essentially remedial. We must also take a positive approach by finding new ways to spread ownership of future capital growth more broadly in our society. We are coming to see that there should be no stifling of labor by capital or of capital by labor, and also that there should be no stifling of labor by labor or of capital by capital. Go as far as you can see. When you get there, you'll be able to see farther. It is one thing to stand on the comfortable ground of placid inaction and put forth words of cynical wisdom, and another to plunge into the work itself and through strenuous experience earn the right to express strong conclusions. Don't waste effort on a thing that ends in a petty triumph unless you are happy with a life of petty success.